The film begins on Valentine's Day. A woman named Rose Carlyle steps off a bus and notices a real estate ad featuring Marvin Gable. With a mischievous grin, she takes out a marker and doodles a silly mustache on Marvin's face. Meanwhile, Marvin, a respected real estate agent, lives a quiet, comfortable life alone on the other side of town. Always the cheerful boss, he shows up at work bearing cookies for his staff. However, his assistant Ashley, cynical about both love and her job, calls him in a sour mood. As Marvin sorts through his mail, he freezes at the sight of a mysterious Valentine's card that reads, "I'm back." Moments later, he's ambushed in his office and knocked unconscious. Marvin regains consciousness to find his hand pinned to the desk by the Raven, a poetic and deadly assassin. The Raven has been sent by Marvin's estranged brother, Alvin, also known as Knuckles, a crime boss Marvin used to work for as part of a shadowy group known as the Organization. Along with his partner, Rennie Merlot, Knuckles is out for revenge after learning Rose is still alive. Marvin had been ordered to eliminate her for stealing their money, but apparently failed. Breaking free, Marvin engages in a fierce fight with Raven inside the office, all while a Valentine's Day party unfolds just outside the room. After a brutal scuffle, Marvin knocks Raven out and attempts to flee, only to be stopped by his old mentor, Cliff Cussick, who ironically presents him with a Realtor of the Year award for his dedication and hard work. Knuckles dispatches two hitmen, King and Otis, to surveil Marvin. However, unbeknownst to Knuckles, his associate Merlot is secretly betraying him. He has recruited King and Otis to help him embezzle Knuckles' money. The two hitmen track Marvin to his home, where they launch a surprise attack. Marvin defends himself using nothing but cookie cutters, but the fight quickly escalates as the pair overpower him, shove him into a refrigerator, and hurl it across the kitchen. Despite the beating, Marvin rallies. He knocks Otis unconscious and cleverly disables King by throwing a knife that jams his gun. Just as Marvin tries to escape in his car, Rose appears, tasers him, and knocks him out. Moments later, King follows and is tasered as well. Meanwhile, at the office, Ashley walks into Marvin's office and discovers the unconscious Raven along with his poetry journal. Curious, she flips through the pages and finds herself unexpectedly moved by the verses. She expresses admiration aloud, just as Raven regains consciousness. A spark begins to develop between them. Marvin regains consciousness inside a strip club, dressed in new clothes. He soon realizes that Rose is the bartender there. She reminds him that he spared her life once, hinting that his feelings for her are the reason. Rose reveals she possesses incriminating evidence that Knuckles has been embezzling money from Russian gangsters. Together, they head to a property Marvin is currently trying to sell, where Rose reveals she has Kippy, Knuckles' accountant, in tow. Kippy, who is missing a finger thanks to Rose, had access to Knuckles' financials. Rose had partnered with Merlot to steal from Knuckles, but when Kippy mentions they stole $2 million, Rose corrects him. The actual amount was $4 million. The missing $2 million suggests Merlot double-crossed her, framing her for the theft and forcing her into hiding. Cliff heads to Marvin's home for a visit, but instead is confronted by Knuckles and one of his henchmen. Knuckles reveals Marvin's dark past, exposing the violent life he once led. Cliff refuses to believe it, describing Marvin as a brother. In a sudden act of brutality, Knuckles fatally stabs Cliff in the eye with a boba tea straw. The next morning, Rose leaves Marvin with a couple interested in purchasing the house, disheartened by his unwillingness to return to his old ways and help her. Marvin calls Ashley to bring the necessary paperwork, but her arrival is accompanied by Raven. Meanwhile, King and Otis show up as well, and a chaotic shootout breaks out. Ashley rushes to protect the couple by hiding them in a separate room, while Marvin and Raven temporarily join forces to battle the intruders. Using his signature blades, Raven takes down King and Otis. He then turns back to fight Marvin, but they are interrupted by Ashley, who confesses she's fallen for Raven. Her confession stirs something in Marvin, motivating him to return to help Rose. Marvin infiltrates Knuckles' hideout, where Rose is being held prisoner. Embracing his former skills, he swiftly takes out several henchmen before freeing her. Together, they fight back, Rose grabs a shotgun and fatally shoots Merlot. Marvin then faces Knuckles in a brutal final showdown, ultimately overpowering him. When Knuckles tries to strike from behind, Rose intervenes and shoots him. She reveals she's struck a deal with the Russian gangsters, who arrive and take Knuckles away to an uncertain fate. As Rose begins to walk away, Marvin follows and confesses his love. In the aftermath, Raven and Ashley begin a relationship, while King and Otis are revealed to have survived, with Otis attempting to patch things up with his girlfriend. Marvin reflects that while love hurts, it's worth it, especially when it's with someone like Rose. Marvin Gable appears to be a friendly and mild-mannered realtor, living a quiet life on his own. However, beneath the surface, he's a former assassin with a lethal past. His world is upended when Rose Carlyle, his former lover, re-enters his life. Years ago, Marvin was ordered by his crime boss brother, Knuckles, to eliminate Rose after she stole money from their operation. Instead, Marvin let her go. Now, Rose has returned, revealing that Knuckles' business partner Merlot orchestrated the theft and framed her, forcing her into hiding. Soon, Marvin becomes the target of other assassins, including the poetic and dangerous Raven, as well as the chaotic duo King and Otis. Unexpectedly, Raven develops feelings for Marvin's assistant, Ashley, who is equally charmed by his romantic poetry. Their budding romance leads Ashley to intervene in the conflict, convincing Marvin to spare Raven, an act that reignites Marvin's sense of purpose and pushes him to stand by Rose. Determined to set things right, Marvin storms Knuckles' hideout to rescue Rose. After eliminating Merlot and numerous henchmen, Marvin confronts Knuckles in a fierce final battle. Before Knuckles can retaliate, Russian gangsters, whom he had been stealing from, arrive to take him away, thanks to Rose's deal with them and the evidence she provided. With their enemies gone and the past behind them, Marvin and Rose rekindle their relationship, finally free to move forward together.